There's something about waking up in the middle of the night that makes your senses sharper. The silence is never truly silent. Every creak in the floorboards, every whisper of the wind outside, every distant sound becomes amplified. Your mind starts piecing together puzzles before you even understand what you're looking for. And that night, my gut was screaming at me. I rolled over, expecting to feel the familiar warmth of my wife, Linda, beside me, but the bed was empty, still warm. A frown creased my forehead as I turned to glance at the clock. 2:47 a.m. Linda had never been the type to wake up in the middle of the night. Something felt off. I sat up listening. A faint murmur drifted from downstairs. Laughter, hushed voices. The kind of sound that didn't belong at this hour. My chest tightened as I swung my legs over the side of the bed, my feet hitting the cold floor. I wasn't one to jump to conclusions, but something in the air felt wrong. As I moved down the darkened hallway and approached the staircase, my pulse pounded in my ears. The living room lights were dimmed, casting a soft, intimate glow over the space. A world that wasn't meant for me to walk into. And then I saw it. There, on the couch, wrapped in each other's arms, was my wife. But she wasn't alone. She was pressed against another man, her hands gripping his shoulders in a way that sent fire through my veins. But it wasn't just any man. It was Jason, my son-in-law, the man I had welcomed into my home, the man I had trusted with my only daughter. A red haze blurred my vision. Thought fled. Instinct took over. "You bastard." The words ripped from my throat like thunder as I lunged. Jason barely had time to turn his head before my fist collided with his jaw. His head snapped back, and he tumbled from the couch, a shocked grunt escaping his lips. But I wasn't done. Not even close. I tackled him to the ground, rage driving my fists as they crashed into his face over and over. A satisfying crunch met my knuckles as his nose cracked under the force of my blows. He whimpered, a pathetic sound that only fueled my fury. Linda was screaming now, her voice shrill, desperate. "Stop. Stop, please." But I didn't stop. I grabbed Jason by the collar and hauled him up, dragging him toward the door. My breaths came in ragged gasps, my grip unrelenting. "You want to destroy my family?" I snarled, my voice thick with fury. "Then you don't deserve to be in this house." I was ready to throw him out like the trash he was. But then, a scream cut through the chaos. What the hell is going on here? I turned sharply. At the top of the staircase stood my daughter. Her eyes were wide with horror, her face ghostly pale as she clutched the railing. She looked between me, Jason's bloodied face, and her mother, who stood frozen, guilt carved into every line of her face. And in that moment, I saw something that shattered me more than the betrayal itself. I saw my daughter's world crumbling. Everything she thought she knew, her marriage, her mother, the foundation of her life, was gone. "Dad." Her voice was small, broken. My chest tightened. I don't understand," she whispered, shaking her head as if trying to force the truth away. Jason, ever the manipulator, saw his chance. "Babe, listen," he croaked, wiping the blood from his mouth. "Your dad is overreacting." I didn't let him finish. I yanked him up by his shirt and slammed him against the wall. "Overreacting." My voice was venom. "You were just making out with her mother on my couch. You son of a—" The breath left my daughter's lungs in a strangled gasp. Her knees buckled, and in that instant the truth settled. Her head shook violently. No, that's not possible." She turned to Linda, eyes pleading. "Mom." Linda opened her mouth, but there were no words. Nothing she could say to mend what she had broken. And so she cried, silent, guilty tears that only made it worse. You were with my husband." My daughter's voice was barely above a whisper, her entire body trembling. Linda reached out. "Sweetheart, don't touch me." The scream shattered the air, raw and gut-wrenching. Linda flinched as if physically struck. Jason, the coward, still tried to salvage what was left. "Listen, babe," he stammered, voice laced with desperation. "It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. We can move past this." My daughter laughed. A cold, bitter, broken laugh. A mistake? Her voice trembled, but now it was with fury. Before anyone could stop her, she grabbed the nearest lamp from the side table and hurled it. Jason barely ducked in time as the glass shattered against the wall. "Get the hell out of my house," she screamed. But Jason, stupid, arrogant Jason, didn't move. He still thought he could fix this. He thought he could talk his way out, that my daughter would be another fool to manipulate. But he had no idea what was coming next. Because this wasn't just a family breaking apart. This was war. And I was going to make damn sure that Jason and my cheating wife lost everything. The echoes of my daughter's voice still lingered in the air, sharp and unwavering. "Get the hell out of my house," she had screamed, her fury cutting through the tense silence like a blade. Jason, ever the coward, raised his hands in a feeble attempt to calm her. "Baby, please, let's talk." Crack. My fist met his face again, this time even harder. He stumbled back, his body colliding with the coffee table before collapsing to the floor. Blood smeared his lips, his eyes wide with a mix of pain and fear. Linda screamed, rushing toward him. "Jerry, stop. You're going to kill him." I didn't care. He deserved worse. But then my daughter stepped between us. Her hands trembled, her chest rising and falling with quick, shallow breaths, but her voice was steady, firm. "Dad." I met her gaze. "Don't waste another punch on him. He's not worth it." My fists clenched, the urge to keep beating Jason into the ground still burning inside me. But then I exhaled, forcing the rage to cool just enough to think clearly. She was right. Jason was already a dead man walking, and I had a far better way to destroy him. I stepped back, my glare searing into him. "Get your things and leave." Jason wiped his bloodied mouth, still clinging to pathetic hope that he could talk his way out of this. "I have nowhere to go," he muttered. I gave him a cold, empty stare. Not my problem. Desperation flickered in his eyes as he turned to my daughter, his last hope. "Babe, please, just..." Slap. The sound echoed through the room. She had struck him so hard his head snapped to the side. For a moment, he looked stunned, like he couldn't believe what had just happened. Then, slowly, she raised a trembling hand and pointed the door. "Get out!" Jason hesitated, still grasping for some lifeline. But there was none. His shoulders slumped, and he finally stumbled to his feet before bolting out the door like the coward he was. Just like that, my daughter's marriage was over. But there was still unfinished business. Linda stood there, silent, her face streaked with tears. She looked at me like a wounded animal, her voice small. "Jerry, I made a mistake." I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. "No, Linda, you made a choice." She took a hesitant step closer. "Please, we can fix this." My daughter spoke first. "Fix this?" Her voice was venomous, laced with something even deadlier than anger, pure, cutting betrayal. "You didn't just cheat. You did it with my husband." Linda winced. "It didn't mean anything." "Stop lying," my daughter screamed. Linda flinched, and for the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. She was beginning to understand. She had lost everything. I turned, walked to the kitchen, and grabbed a folder from the counter. Without a word, I tossed it onto the couch in front of her. Linda frowned, her hand shaking as she reached for it. "What's this?" "Divorce papers." My voice was flat, emotionless. Her breath hitched. "You already had these?" I smiled. "No, I printed them an hour ago." Her face crumbled. "Jerry, please, don't do this." I picked up my car keys, my patience with her long gone. "You have 24 hours to pack your things and leave. After that, I'm changing the locks." Her hands trembled. "Where am I supposed to go?" I shrugged. "Not my problem." Then I walked out, because I was done with her. Forever. Linda had thought I would forgive her. Jason had thought he could walk away unscathed. But betrayals like this, they don't just end with a divorce and a few broken hearts. No, they deserve ruin. And I wasn't just going to walk away quietly. I was going to make damn sure Jason felt every ounce of the pain he had caused. I knew exactly where he would go. his parent house. Jason had nowhere else to turn, and his parents, Frank and Marie, had always been good people. I had respected them. Hell, I had even considered them family. But after tonight, that was over. I picked up my phone and dialed Frank's number. He answered on the first ring. "Hey, Jerry. It's late. Everything okay?" I took a deep breath. "No, Frank, it's not." Then, without holding anything back, I told him everything. How Jason had betrayed my daughter. How he had done it with my wife. How I had caught them in my own damn living room. Silence. Then a low, furious voice. "That son of a..." I smiled, because Jason wasn't just losing his marriage. He was losing his entire family. But I wasn't done yet. Jason was a small-time real estate agent, decent at best, but his entire career relied on one thing: his reputation. Word-of-mouth referrals kept him afloat, so I made sure everyone knew exactly who he was. I posted the story online. No names, just enough detail to make it spread like wildfire. Within hours, it was all over our town's Facebook groups. Then, I sent an anonymous tip to his real estate firm. By morning, Jason was a pariah. Clients dropped him. His firm quietly let him go. His name was ruined. And the best part? He had no idea I was the one who orchestrated it all. The day Linda moved out, she tried one last time. She stood in the doorway, suitcase in hand, eyes brimming with tears. "Jerry, do you really want to end things like this?" I folded my arms. "Linda, you slept with our daughter's husband." She winced. It was a mistake. It was a choice. Her breath hitched. Where am I supposed to go? I met her gaze, my expression empty. Not my problem. Then I shut the door in her face. And just like that, she was gone. For good. Jason lost his wife, his career, his reputation. Linda lost her family, her home, her dignity. And my daughter? She filed for divorce immediately. As for me, I rebuilt my life. Found someone who actually deserved me. Never looked back. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's showing them that you never needed them in the first place.